Hi everyone! Thank you so much for watching this 2021 Back to School Drive Leader Training session. My name is Evelyn Huynh. I run community outreach and membership here at Family Giving Tree, and I'm excited to have you all join us this year for our Back to School Drive. My pronouns are she, her, and hers, and you can reach me at eve@fgt.org. That's eve@fgt.org if you have any questions at any point. Alternatively, you can also hit up driveleaders@fgt.org and you will also get me. So let's dive into our presentation today. We have a lot to cover, and I know you all probably have a lot of questions, which you're welcome to follow up with me on afterwards if this video does not help answer the questions for you. Okay, let's get started. To give you a quick overview, we'll cover the high-level information about this year's Back to School drive, back to school in COVID times, and then go into detail about running your physical drive, running your virtual drive timelines, and talk through some best practices, which I know a lot of you are very excited about. The theme for the Back to School drive this year is the Backpack Comeback. We've given the drive a completely new look and feel from previous years with an energetic pow, and are hoping this is a perfect representation of giving students a fresh start after a pretty difficult COVID year. For those who aren't aware, the results of this pandemic have been really detrimental and difficult for a lot of the populations that we typically serve, and especially the students that we're looking to serve this back to school year. This pandemic has compounded the racial disparity in education, learning, and achievement. Because of the forced school shutdowns, white and Caucasian students fell about 1 to 3 months behind in learning, while our BIPOC students, our Black, Indigenous, persons of color, fell about 3 to 5 months behind from where they were before the shutdowns occurred. By the end of this school year, which happens to be wrapping up this month, this week for some people, students on average may have fallen behind closer to 5 to 9 months of learning in areas like math or science, and our BIPOC students are expected to have potentially fallen behind by closer to 6 to 12 months due to the opportunity gaps that they face. To give you a quick overview for those who are less familiar with how the Back to School Drive works, we work with you, our wonderful drive leaders, to facilitate donations to come into your groups or your organizations or companies, either physically or online, virtually. We take all of those donated backpacks that are received and we check them at our warehouse. We do have a central warehouse location that we will be working out of in the South Bay, and all of our operations will be out of there in order to receive, to distribute, to check, do all of that work. So what we do in the warehouse is we ensure that all of the supplies are included and the items that should not be in the backpacks are removed, and gather the requested backpacks for each school to coordinate them for pickup in August. And then the schools themselves will distribute to the students or the families. Every school, every district has their own way of distribution. Some folks will do a quick drive up to drop off the backpacks. Some in the before times would hold assemblies with their students to be able to have all of the students in one room and they go and pick out their own backpacks. And then some schools do one-on-one where they protect the privacy of the students a little more and allow them the opportunity to come into an office and select their backpack solo and then take it back with them. Let's talk about the different learning environments. So going into the fall school year, things keep changing week over week, so new information comes out. But as of right now, what we have heard is each school and each district is going to vary in how they operate, but will fall into one of these categories at some point during the school year. Number one, in classroom. This means that students will be actually going back into the physical classroom and be sitting with their classmates, learning from the teacher in person. All students are expected to have a separate set of learning materials in the classroom to prevent sharing and contamination. So right now, there is a subset of younger folks who are not eligible to receive vaccines. So this is to provide the utmost protection in terms of minimizing any spreading of germs or viruses or anything like that. The second environment that we expect to accommodate for is the hybrid environment. And this is the case where students will be going into the classroom for part of the week and learning from home for another part of the week. So it's a bit of both worlds. And of course, this means two completely separate sets of supplies, one for the classroom and one for at home. And finally, as I just mentioned, the last environment we expect to accommodate for is the at-home environment. And this is, of course, where students will be learning in their homes. Some schools will be opting for parents to have the option to opt out of putting their kids back into the classroom in the fall, so they will have their students home with them. And this could mean households of 4 kids that may be learning in the same environment. So that backpack, those supplies, all go together at the beginning of the day. They pull things out of their own respective backpacks, and at the end of the day are able to pack up their quote-unquote classroom and maintain their own personal space of learning. Let's dive into the 2021 Back-to-School Goals. Now, historically, in the before times, we averaged between 30 to 40,000 backpacks for distribution during back to school. Given the difficulties presented by the pandemic, we've taken a hard look at what we can realistically do for the kids this season based on how the pandemic has impacted them, our donors, and our drive leading companies, and have set a goal of 23,500 backpacks. In addition to this, however, we're also providing 22,000 essential health kits. For those who ran the most recent holiday wish drive with us, you're familiar with what these health kits are. These consist of a toothbrush, toothpaste, floss, mask, and hand sanitizer. We're doing everything we can to provide the most relevant supplies for our students so they can head back into the school year healthy and prepared to learn. Let's talk about what back to school drive in COVID times means. So this year, we are collecting backpacks for 3 different grade levels. In years past, we've provided 4 different grade levels, but for this year, we've combined the middle and high school backpacks into one, and we've put earbuds with microphones on the list to provide for hybrid and at-home learning. We've also updated the lower school backpacks to include a small white erase board with a marker and eraser, as well as headphones with microphones. We've learned that the younger kids do better with the over-ear headphones, and the older kids prefer the more discreet earbuds. We've also made a larger investment in our VGT this season. We've added some options to help fund big impact asks in the shopping experience, and we've also provided instructions in your setup email for pulling donor reports for those who are looking to get this information to either personally thank their donors who have contributed to their VGT or would like to follow up with their donors to submit for corporate donation matches. The report only contains the donor name in the interest of protecting donor information, so no donation totals or contact information is provided, but we found that this has been sufficient for most folks. Our volunteer program is also getting an update. So with regards to volunteering in the warehouse, we will be having safety precautions in place and following city and county guidelines and recommendations. Everything changes week over week, so we're trying to keep a pulse on it as best as we can. Right now, as it stands, we are only going to allow vaccinated individuals to volunteer in our warehouse or our office spaces. So if you are not vaccinated or you have kids who would like to volunteer, we will have at-home opportunities, and that means you may be coming to our warehouse or our office to pick up materials to take home with you to work on at home. This is completely ideal for those who are unvaccinated, such as kids. We love being able to provide volunteer opportunities for individuals of all ages, and this is our way of making sure that we can still maintain inclusivity for all of those helpers who want to be able to help give back to the back to school drive. And finally, for those of you who haven't considered this, doing what you're doing today is considered volunteer work. leading a drive. So whether it be that you are attending a training session or are getting marketing materials ready for sending out to your group, or getting tags organized and distributed to your group, or sending reminder emails, all of that work is volunteer work. And we are so grateful to have you on board and willing to take that time and make the effort to do all of this work for us. If you are working for a company that provides volunteer matching, please consider submitting for that. It will help take your time and your dollars that much farther with the Back to School Drive. And if you're not sure whether or not your company does volunteer matching, reach out to your HR department and ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, right? Let's move on to talk about important information you need to know about the physical drive. For those of you who signed up and requested for tags and materials to be sent to you, you can be on the lookout for those. They are in the mail. If you signed up and you opted to download them online, they are on our resources page, and all of the links are in your registration confirmation email. So check the resources page for everything. I will be referring to this several times during this training session, but you can go there and download the various grade level tags, as well as the backsides with additional information on specifics you need to know about purchasing a backpack. So check the resources page. Again, if you registered and you expect tags in the mail, they went out earlier this week to USPS. So if you haven't already received them, you should receive them. If you just registered, you will be getting your tags, your materials that you requested within a week. We are continuing to mail out tags and materials as people are registering. If at any point you find yourself needing more tags, reach out to me, driveleaders@fgt.org, and I will be able to get you more tags in the mail. With regards to what you should expect to receive in the mail, if you requested for tags in increments of 25, you will receive what we call a perfect pack. So a perfect pack consists of 7 K through 1 tags, 8 2 through 5 tags, and 10 6 through 12 tags. If you didn't request for an increment of 25, we mirrored that as close as we could with the composition. With the perfect pack, you should also expect to receive 2 monetary donation envelopes, and these are for you to hand out to any folks who would prefer to just send a check or cash and send it back directly to us. We don't recommend sending cash, but there are folks who do, and that's totally okay. We will take it. But checks, those will come back to us, and you can request for more of those if you need them as well. One thing to also note here is that we are collecting toothbrushes with every backpack. So for all the donors that go out and come back with a supply-filled backpack, please be sure to tell them to purchase a new toothbrush for their student. And we do recommend that you have a separate collection bin or bag for the toothbrush, because we would like that outside of the backpack if at all possible. Let's talk about donation collection best practices. So if you are doing everything online but are still doing a physical drive, that means you will be sharing the tag images with your donor group. So go online onto our resources page, download those tags, and share them out. If you are receiving tags or that you're printing your own, place those tags in your lobby area if you are back in the office so that everybody can see them as they walk by. Same thing with collection boxes. If you did receive a collection box, we recommend that you put them in a highly trafficked area. They are branded, they are beautiful. If you set up your own collection box, I'm sure it's beautiful as well. But it's a good reminder for folks who are coming in and out of your office or your floor that you are running a back to school drive. And it's a great visual reminder that I highly recommend you put out there for your own marketing purposes, as well as the ease of people being able to just drop their donations directly into the box when they've got it ready to go. If you do have a collection box that is set up in a public area, or perhaps the front of an office that has many, many windows, or if you're, downtown somewhere, we do recommend that you secure your donations at the end of each day rather than leave them out. We have had some folks who have come across some unfortunate incidents where folks have broken windows, so we definitely recommend that you store them securely at the end of each night before you leave. If you're not running a drive within an office building yet, because you guys are not there yet, or your situation has just changed overall, we have had some drive leaders schedule meetups. And so, for example, you can meet up at a communal parking lot somewhere, park right next to each other, and transfer backpacks from one car to the other in terms of collection. We also have had some folks who have graciously offered their front porches for their fellow employees. You can do that as well. Whatever it is that you're comfortable with, run with it. Get creative. If you need ideas, reach out to me and I will be happy to brainstorm with you. As far as dropping off physical donations to us are concerned, I will be sending out a sign up in several weeks for you to be able to sign up for drop-off appointments. They are required for you to come and drop off. We do want to minimize any sort of traffic jam at our warehouse, and found that this has been the most efficient way to do it, since this is how we kind of established safe drop-offs last year, and it worked really, really well for everybody. So sign up for an appointment. Make sure before you come in for your appointment that you count your backpacks and send in your totals to me prior to your appointment. I will provide you with all of these instructions in the emails that I will send you, but this is just so you know ahead of time what to expect. Bonus points for you if you can count the backpacks by different grade levels and share them with us. That will help us organize a little quicker at the warehouse. If you have any excess supplies that you are planning to donate, like say you have a donor who had extra folders that they didn't need to put into a backpack, separate the excess supplies and your toothbrushes into a separate bag or container and drop it off at the time you drop off at our warehouse. That was the physical drive. Now let's move on to the virtual Giving Tree drive. So if you signed up for a virtual Giving Tree, you should have received your setup email within 1 to 2 business days. If you haven't, check your spam. It tends to go there. If you still haven't, reach out to amelia@fgt.org and we will help get you set up. But you should have received it if you already signed up. If you are running a physical drive and you feel like you want to sign up for a VGT, email me at driveleaders@fgt.org and let me know and we can get you set up. So again, check your spam folder. If it's not there, reach out. A couple of things to note about the virtual Giving Tree is that it's a customizable page. So customize it. You can upload your own logo. You can do your own customized write-up. We do have a set write-up that's on the page. If you would like to just leave it, you're welcome to. If you want to add to it, you're welcome to do that. If you are not part of a company but are part of a social group or a family, instead of uploading a logo, because you probably don't have one, consider uploading a picture of your group or something fun, something that represents why it is that you are doing the back to school drive with your friends or family or whatnot. Make it a fun page for yourself. One cool thing that we have added to the virtual Giving Trees for this year is that we have provided the ability to set a backpack goal and a monetary donation goal. So you can initiate the goal setting for both, or one or the other. Or if you feel like goals make you uncomfortable, you don't have to set a goal. But we do find that putting a goal out there really helps to drive the activity and, people's internal self-competitive natures up to provide the donations. So if somebody sees that you're maybe $50 away from your goal, they'll just pitch in and help. And that's a really good motivator. So consider doing that. Also, revisit your goals from time to time. Do the initial setup, but every couple weeks, check in, see how you're doing. If you've already exceeded your goal, hey, make it a stretch goal. You can go in and you can update your goals to move that total up or down as many times as you like. In your VGT setup email, you will find a link to a YouTube video that we have put together to walk you through how to set up your page. In the very beginning of the video, I go through a quick tour of what the VGT page looks like, so go and take a look at it and see if it helps answer your questions. Again, if at any point you run into any issues or you have any questions about your virtual Giving Tree, reach out to our development officer, Amelia. She is amelia@fgt.org, and she will be happy to help you out. Now let's talk about drive timing. When to start, when to end, all of that good stuff, because I know you have all those questions. So for your physical drive, you can technically start whenever you have your materials ready. So If you are choosing to download them from our resources page, as soon as you get them printed, you're ready to go. If you are running a physical drive and you requested for tags and you've received them, you're ready to go. So you can run your drive at pretty much now to the end of July when all the backpacks are due. It is the last week of July where we'll hold all of our remote drop-offs as well as drop-offs at the warehouse. And again, I will be sending emails out to you all to be able to sign up for appointment slots for those. As far as virtual drives go, you can pretty much run your virtual drive from the point you have it set up and ready to go with your logo or your message from now until September 10th. That is the last day that the drives will be live up on those pages. So after September 10th, they will come down and redirect to a generic donation page. As far as when you want to run your drive, it's pretty much up to you. You set your drive window in your marketing message to your group. So whenever you want in between those dates, just as long as if you're running a physical drive, you get all the backpacks in before the end of July and then all of the online donations in by September 10th. With regards to volunteer signups, priority registrations for drive leaders is open now. So if you haven't already, go and take a look at the email you should have received about priority registration. After a certain point, we did include it in your registration confirmation email, so check that. And again, only vaccinated individuals are allowed to volunteer within the warehouse space, so sign up for that. If you want to volunteer for at-home opportunities, reach out to volunteers@fgt.org, and our volunteer coordinator, Jasmine, will help set you up for those. Again, those opportunities are limited, so reach out now if this is something that you think you would want to do. The volunteers in our warehouse should expect to be able to sign up for slots starting from late July through the end of August. And our general warehouse operations window is going to be about mid-July through early September, but we won't have volunteers in that entire time. So your prime time volunteer opportunities in the warehouse will be late July through the end of August. After the warehouse wraps up and our drive has concluded, we will be sending out a survey, and that will be in around mid-September. And that is going to be to ask about your experience about being a drive leader. And this essentially helps me be able to improve the drive leader program for you for the future. So please be completely honest. Give me all the good, bad, and the ugly, but please give it to me. We would really, really love to hear from you, and we do implement the feedback that we receive from our drive leaders as best we can into future programming in order to make it the best experience possible for you. So don't ignore that survey. Please take it for me and for yourselves. Drive results are going to go out at the end of September, after we've had a chance to process all of the donations that have come in, both physical and through our VGT. So look for something to come into your inbox or your spam box at the end of September that gives you a summary of how your company did in terms of physical donations and various monetary donations. So we will ask you to check and make sure that the information looks correct. And if there's anything that seems off, we will work with you to update our records. And then finally, the cap off to the back to school drive will be our drive leader appreciation event. So this will be a virtual event that will take place. We kind of like that virtual space now that we've been able to realize that we can really increase our accessibility to folks like our drive leaders by hosting it online. So we will be hosting the appreciation event early to mid-October. This is where we will announce Drive Leader Awards. So for those who don't know, all drive leaders who take part in the drive are eligible to be recognized for their work during the drive. We award for each donor size category and base it on the strongest year-over-year growth and volume for each size category. For our first-time drive leaders, we award based on your donation volume for each of the size categories. It's a really great event to get some drive leader love out there and to hear from members of the community and our staff about the impact that your efforts have made. So it'll be a nice look back to see what good you've done with all the hard work you've put in over the summer. So stay tuned for that. Now let's dive into our best practices. First of all, I've said it before and I will say it again. Our resources page is the place to visit. So if you haven't already been there, what are you waiting for? Head over to familygivingtree.org/BTS-resources and you will find a slew of things that will help you run your drive. So there are things there such as marketing, email templates, logos, graphics. Utilize your social sharing with the graphics that we provide. That's what they're there for, so use them. We are totally open to you taking our logos and putting them on your own graphics that you would like. Just please don't alter our own logos. That would be appreciated. And as far as your messaging goes, just consider sharing the reality of the situation for students we're serving and their families. These are families that live and work in some of the most hard-hit areas by the pandemic, and now they're expected to provide even more to ensure that their kids can take part in adapted school environments, whatever that may look like for them. One important thing to note about your marketing message is to note that we're all here to take steps to be better allies for our neighbors. So try staying away from language that suggests any kind of a savior complex. These folks don't need saving. They need an opportunity for equitable education and they need uplifting. So consider that as you're putting together your message to share out with your folks. In terms of best practices for encouraging involvement, there are some really great messages out there for the value of giving and volunteerism. We're here in the business of helping to create equity for our students, but in the end, when you do good, you feel good. So you're setting a good example to follow, and that is absolutely something you can put out there to encourage involvement. Another piece of running this drive in terms of being able to encourage involvement is it's an opportunity to teach kids and families. It's an inclusionary activity that everyone can help take part in and help create empathy in terms of understanding what their fellow neighbors go through who are harder hit by the pandemic or just don't have as much as you do in order to get by day to day. So helping to create empathy helps build stronger kids, which helps build stronger communities as we move forward. Along those lines, you are helping to uplift neighboring communities. We're building an allyship with support for people in our own backyards. So take the opportunity to appeal to human compassion to encourage involvement with the Back to School Drive with your group. And if that doesn't work, throw the spirit of competition in there. You are welcome to set departments against each other and have them compete for the drive. Teams within a company can be set up with VGTs to drive friendly competitions. So reach out to us if you want to be able to have competing VGTs. We're happy to set that up for you. If you have executives or organizational leaders who happen to be really vocal and active, recruit them to help rally the troops. Use them as an opportunity to help drive the activity for your drive at your organization. And in the end, may the best drive win, right? But in the real end, we all win because you're helping to do something really, really good and providing a fun opportunity for folks. So we all come out on top here. And on that note, we are done with our training session. Congratulations for making it through. If you get the opportunity, please take our survey. Tell me how I did and how I can better help you with future training sessions. And if you have any questions at any point, please email driveleaders@fgt.org and I will get back to you as soon as I can with all your Drive Leader needs. And that's it. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I hope you all have a wonderful backpack comeback.